Welcome to Transformative Principal, where I help you stop putting out fires and start leading. I am your host, Jethro Jones. You can follow me on Twitter at Jethro Jones. Welcome to Transformative Principal. I'm excited to have Dr. Kyle Palmer on the program today. He is a HR guy in Central School District, South Kansas City. He's also a consultant for Solution Tree and does a ton of amazing stuff. He recently wrote a book also that is called Parentships in a PLC, and Kyle is a genius when it comes to PLC stuff. And Kyle, welcome to Transformative Principal. Great to have you.
Thank you, Jethro. Excited to be back and with you here today, and just excited to talk about this project I've been working on the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to talk about this. I think this is an area where right now we need this relationship between schools and parents to be stronger than ever. And with all the frustration and turmoil that we've seen over the past couple of years or so, we can really see how it fails when that's not there. So what is it about that relationship that makes it so vital to our schools and to our students' success?
The project really started with, I knew from my experience as a teacher, as a coach, as a principal, I saw a lot of first-year teachers or newer teachers who were, afraid to really reach out and connect with parents, and even as an HR director, doing new teacher mentor programs, that was commonly the number one concern new staff had was, with the horror stories they heard about parents or how to reach out to parents, how to respond to parents. So I really started thinking about, just as far as perspective goes, what if parents truly understood, teachers and their role, what they were trying to do for their kid, and what if teachers understood more, and kind of had some empathy for parents and understood their struggles, and that parents just want the best for their kids. And oftentimes they may not know what the best is for their kids, and they're going to be protective and all those things. And what if both sides just kind of understood more about each other and each other's role? Would they and they should be able to partner better together? So it kind of evolved from that, and really try to connect it into the PLC piece, and really developed into an understanding that we all need to be in this together. We need to be allies, not adversaries. And how can we do that together through a PLC? And it kind of starts with the understanding of what I call the education triangle. You're going to have, commonly in your professional learning community, you focus on the teachers are focusing on the kids. They're working together and collaborating together to focus on kids. And kids are a big part of that, obviously, as well. But with this idea, it's teachers and parents working together with students, which really kind of formulates that triangle that we're all working in this together. Not just teachers, but parents are a crucial part of that too. I was doing a workshop at the Missouri Principals Association a couple of years ago, and I was talking about this, and I was walking around to the tables, and a teacher just said to me, she said that it's their school too. And that really resonated with me, that our public schools are for our families as well, for our parents as well. And parents are their kids' first teachers. Think about for the first 5 years of their life, the parents are the kids' first teachers. And then we get them in as kindergartners, and we try to, our preschoolers, and do as much with them as we can. But it's not an and or. It should be working together.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been harping on for a while is that we as educators think that we have all the answers and know how to do education. The reality is, no amount of education that we give can overcome the teaching that parents give unless the kids actually want to take what we're given. And the reality is parents are the ones who are in charge of their kids' education, and we just step in to support. A parent decides to move, that takes away all of our responsibility and ability to educate their child, but it takes none of their responsibility away because they are the ones who actually have the responsibility to teach their kids. and we're just helping them in that. And too often we think we're the ones who are educating, and we're not recognizing what you said, that the parents are the kids' first teachers, and we need to respect and appreciate that, and not just say, well, we know what's right. I got into a little Twitter debate with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and she had posted that parents are destroying education. And I mean, that's, you can't say that and be a partner with parents at the same time. That's creating an adversarial role. How would you counsel someone who's struggling and feeling adversarial with their parents to get them on the right track so that they can be partners and not adversaries?
Right. And I will first say, I think this book, and of course I wrote this book, but I think this book is coming out at an amazingly perfect time based on what we have seen the last, 2 years, where we have essentially, so I would first respond to that person and say, for 2 years, we've essentially put up a gigantic wall and closed all doors to our parents because, most districts, most schools, COVID protocols were, no visitors in the building. We're going to move everything to virtual. So all of those opportunities, whether it be back to school nights, open houses, conferences, the spring carnival, basketball games, football, whatever it may be, all those opportunities that we got to partner with parents were just gone. And virtual is great, and we did the best we could, but it's just not the same to look at somebody through a screen that it is to, sit next to a parent, feel their emotions, feel their thoughts, and truly partner with them. So again, I think this is coming out at the perfect time. If parents, it really is a case of we need to focus more on parent engagement instead of parent enragement. And that's a conversation that I had with, I'll give credit for that one to Eric Francis. Eric is a great thought partner, just like you are with me. And he brought up this topic of in parent enragement and how do we get back to just parent engagement? And we have seen a lot of enragement from parents, but I think there's some bottled up, hostility there, which isn't, we don't want that to be that either, but there's something there where they're feeling like they're not heard. They could handle it better. I'll get into kind of our norms here in a second, but there's something there that they're upset about, they're frustrated about, that they're not connecting to. And when we have these disjointed, relationships, that goes both ways. It kind of goes back to what I started off with, is sometimes parents, or sometimes teachers get enraged about things, which how can we bring people together to get rid of all that? And I think, again, this is the most opportune time to be able to do that and go back to what engagement looks like. I would never advocate that parents yell and scream and do some of these things that you see on the news and, on all those things. But they also have we also want parents to be a voice, not just have a voice. We've sometimes surveyed parents and we've done this or that, which is to me kind of artificial involvement or even engagement. We want parents to be a voice. And that's what my book is really about, is how can they truly become a part of that school culture instead of just somebody on the outside looking in. And I'll kind of wrap up with this, as a principal and, hearing a lot of stories, sometimes you get parents who wanted to come into the room. They wanted to come observe their child and they wanted to, do whatever. And our teachers would be like, oh, no way. No, they can't come in here. This is going to be distracting. They're just here to see what I'm doing. And I understood the concerns of the teachers. And then during COVID, we just opened up our virtual classrooms to everybody and anyone out there. So parents did get to see what was going on inside of these classrooms, and parents did get to see a lot of the things that were being talked about and done with the classroom, and they got to see how much of a struggle and challenging teaching can be as well. So again, how can we get people back to being on the same page and doing something about those negative feelings or emotions that they are feeling?
Yeah, and I think with that perspective of hindsight now and seeing what it looked like for us to be broadcasting our classes out to everybody, and there were some challenges with that, to be sure, and there were some challenging aspects of that for sure. But also, we learned that there's a lot of parents who want to be more enrolled in what their kids are doing and want to be involved. And like you said at the beginning, in a positive way, they want what's best for their kids. They're not intentionally trying to like ruin anybody's life or take anybody's job or anything like that, but they want what's best for their kids, and that's their priority. And when we start from that area, we can find common ground pretty easily if we both want what is right for the kids that we're serving. So you mentioned some of the norms around engaging parents. Can you talk a little bit about those?
So the book is broken up into two parts, and the first part talks about the education triangle and how can we get parents to be more of a voice, not just have a voice, and we talk about how to start your parentship. So again, the title of the book is kind of a play on the parent partnership. I tried to think of some kind of creative way to capture the essence of what this book was all about. And it is about parentship. It's about partnerships, but really it's partnerships with the parents. So it became Parentships, which I thought was a great way to kind of grab the essence of what this book was all about. So we go through in the first part also about developing your parentship success team, which is like a specific intentional team of parents and staff that can work together, that their sole mission and vision is about how can we get parents more involved and engaged and be a voice inside of the school. And without that intentional work, that's just not going to happen that way. The second part of the book, I developed a lot of different strategies to help schools. As I was working on this project, I would reach out to a lot of great leaders and principals and thought leaders across the country, and I just kept getting a lot of, we don't really do this. I don't really know. We send out newsletters. We have carnivals. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of, like, no offense to anyone, but there just wasn't a ton being done to really intentionally build on this partnership. So the second part of my book really became a list of, different sections of strategies and things. There are team-based strategies and building-based strategies for teachers and school staff to use. And one of those strategies was just taking the idea of having norms. Again, these aren't all brand new from scratch types of things. It's just all good collaborative teams have norms. They have norms being a specific, kind of a description of what our behaviors must be for us to be successful working together. So this idea is just school-wide norms. How can we have norms for when our parents and our teachers are working together? How can we have norms for when there's, conversations or there's collaboration on the telephone or it's just, don't leave these things to chance. Just specifically lay out what these things are going to look like. And one of these things is going to be when you're not going to yell and you're not going to call and scream at a teacher. We're not going to send nasty emails home. We're not going to have, face-to-face confrontations in the school setting. It's just to specifically lay out what our actions are going to look like. So if you get an enraged parent, and hopefully there's some expectations ahead of time that, these are not our norms. This is not how we operate. I need you to change your words or change your emotion right now.
Yeah, I like that. So having norms is really important and definitely something that you can formalize and put into place, but sometimes those things just happen naturally, that people start to understand how to work together. When a kid really loves a book so much that they don't want to put it down, I love seeing early readers that excited. Just Right Reader decodable books do that for your students. With diverse characters so students see themselves, funny plot lines so kids enjoy it, and skills based on the science of reading so kids actually progress, Just Right Reader decodables are the perfect addition to your school. Check out justrightreader.com. That's justrightreader.com. And I want to share a quick story about when I was a teacher in a middle school. And I had this idea of doing these small group rotations and knew that if I, as a young, inexperienced teacher, just turned my kids loose, I would get eaten alive, right? And if I was focusing on 4 kids, the other 28 would be over there causing havoc. And so I had to do something and figure out how that would work and what it would look like. And one of the things that I came up with was to invite parents in to volunteer in a middle school classroom, which, as you know, just doesn't happen very often. And once I did this, then people at the district found out and were like, uh-oh, that's not going to be good because whatever, they had their doubts. So some district people came and observed, and what I found was that these parents that I had coming in 1 day a week for the full day, different parents, they take turns and stuff, but they were there 1 day a week all day long. I'm sorry, it was 2 days because it took me 2 days to get through the rotation. As they were there, these parents were building relationships with the kids, deepening the relationships that they already had, and were seen as a support rather than as somebody who was in trying to see what was going on. So I told them going in, my goal, like the reason why you're here is so that I can focus on these kids in front of me. So if you have to ask me all this stuff, if I haven't prepared well and set you up for success, 1, that's on me and I should do better. But 2, you've also just got to figure some things out. And I can't, if I'm being pulled away every 30 seconds because you have a question and you can't figure it out yourself, then that's going to be a problem. And that sounded more demeaning than how I said it before, but the 2 moms who were with me the most are dear friends that I just love and respect so much, because they saw what I was doing and saw how it was benefiting their kids by letting me have attention with a small group of kids. And it was so great. That partnership was by far the highlight of my career, because so much good came of that. And there was so much respect in that classroom. There was so much support, and there was so much partnership with these parents that it really felt like what you're describing of a parentship, and not me saying, I have all the answers, you have to do it how I want, but also empowering them to solve small issues on their own and to deal with classroom management and things like that. It wasn't like, this is my classroom, you have to do what I say. It was, this is my goal, here's my vision, help me achieve this vision, and they totally got on board with it. And when we take that approach of help me achieve this vision, I think people are much more willing to get on board with it. What are your thoughts there?
That's why the fundamental part of because we're so PLC oriented, that the parentship success team creates their own mission and their own vision and their values and their goals, so that they can operate as an intentional group that is purposely trying to impact positively the parentship in their school building. So absolutely, you got to be able to talk about what the mission and vision is for that particular group in order to support. Because I was blessed as principal at Lewis and Clark Elementary in Liberty. I mean, I look back on those 10 years, and they were just amazing 10 years. Great families, great kids. I had my own kids there. I mean, I was, and I still am completely in love with that school. But even at that, I look back and I think, did we really give parents a voice for significant change or for significant things that we were doing in our school? We had amazingly supportive parents, conference meals, carnivals, donations. We were able to do a lot of really cool things because we had a lot of, our teachers would put sticky notes on their doors, and the parents would donate class supplies, and we had a lot of great things. But what I realize now is that we had a lot of parents who could give a lot to our school, but maybe not financially, maybe not through resources, but maybe through their ideas and their questions. And I don't feel like I did a good enough job of really incorporating that part of the parentship into our school. So that's a part of a message that I wanted to get out more now. And we got better about, we had a lot of parents who had a lot of great jobs. And so we started bringing in parents to work with our real world learning experiences and PBL units and things like that. So we had a lot of great resources out there. So there's a strategy in my book talking about career navigators. How can we, these parents who have these phenomenal jobs, how can we use them as resources to come in and talk with the kids, but also to talk to kids who are looking at career opportunities when they get into high school about what, kind of helping them decide where it is that exactly what they want to do with kind of being post high school. And we had a great watchdogs program, and that was a way for father figures who maybe, traditionally you might get more moms, who supported and volunteered and helped out. This is a great way for dads, grandpas, stepdads, uncles, boyfriends to be involved with their kids, but also with our school. And they did get an inside view of what our school was like. And we opened up our doors to them. And they were always consistently exhausted at the end of the day. And they were always constantly amazed at the work of our teachers. And I think that was a positive, because they got to see the inner workings of what it looked like. And they were amazed at how awesome our teachers were. And that was always a really positive message.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Kyle, we've been friends for a long time, almost as long as this podcast has been around, because you were on episode 79 way back when, years ago. And I've seen...
I first met you at the Model Schools Conference down in, I think, Atlanta.
Yeah, that's right. And that was an awesome experience, one of the great conferences that I've been to. I want to remind everybody, the book is called Parentships. You can get it at Solution Tree. There's a link in the show notes to get that book. Definitely something that everyone should get. The last question that I have for you, Kyle, is what is one thing that a principal can do this week to be a transformative leader like you?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I think it begins and ends with how you treat people and how you engage with people. So whatever you can do to build people around you, to pour into people around you, to influence people around you. People are struggling right now, and it's tough. And whatever you can do to make it be okay for other people and build those great people around you, and your parents as well. I mean, connect with that parent. Start talking about what a parentship could be. Acknowledge the fact that we've kind of closed those doors to parents in the last couple of years. How can we start to re-engage our parent community and start over, not start over, but really work to build that back, here in the next couple of months as we get ready to wind up the year and get ready for next year. But I say people, and those people, don't forget, those people are your great parents as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you and all you do. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with our audience here today, and have a great day. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again, Jethro. And you can also get that book at Amazon too. So Amazon, our Solution Tree, Parentships, and a PLC. Let me know how I can help.